Recently, Mexico has been on the news for really awful things. And people are spreading this word that Mexico is a bad place. But Mexico's only bad in the stories that they're telling you. They're actually not telling you the whole truth. And I was scrolling across YouTube and I came across this guy's video. And it made me realize how deep the lies were. And it made me really think how much Americans are brainwashed to think that Mexico is a super bad place. Let's watch a video.
Mexico is feeling the wrath of a powerful drug cartel.
This morning, American tourists desperate to leave Mexico.
The threat of violence continues to loom across Mexico.
Violence has broken out in several cities across Mexico.
With the killing of an...
Hold on, before I start where he is, these things did happen. There's things that happen in Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta. They were very targeted towards the government. But this is like, it's not a normal thing. I'm not gonna normalize this stuff because it's not normal. It's not normal for anywhere. These things did happen. But let's get back to what this guy has to say.
Another cartel leader in Mexico. I'm just going to be totally blunt. Do not go to Mexico. Like, if you go to Mexico, you need your head examined.
You need your head examined. Says the guy that has, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 knives, 3 guns, a couple axes on the wall behind him. He says that he's an ex-CIA agent. Maybe he is, and I don't know. I don't know much about him. So I'm not going to cut him up or anything like that, but you would think that these guys would have a little bit more knowledge in the world than maybe they don't. I don't know.
There's absolutely no reason to go to Mexico. I've been trying to warn people for the last decade plus, like, do not go to Mexico. There are a million beautiful places in this world that aren't Mexico. So I do understand if your job requires it, if your livelihood requires it, and you...
Come on. Mexico is a beautiful place. What is he talking about? Do not go? I know people come online and they want to make money by making people click and making people watch. Even when they lie. But Mexico has a lot of beautiful things to offer.
Have to go to Mexico for business reasons. I have a lot of those clients, and a lot of them been shaken down or had something happen. Remember, when you are in Mexico or other parts of the world and a corrupt police officer shakes you down, you don't just whip out the wad of cash and say, okay, what is it going to take me to get out of this? You apologize, you play the dumb American, and you say, excuse me, I'm so sorry, I apologize, I bet there's a fine to pay. How do I pay this fine?
People like this always have the excuse that there's corrupt police officers in Mexico. Now, there's corrupt police officers everywhere. Everywhere. There's corrupt police officers in the USA. The corruption just looks different a lot, but police officers are involved in a lot of different illegal activities all over the world. Now, do people get shaken down by police officers in Mexico? Yeah, it happens. I haven't experienced that. Nothing but nice things have... I've seen nothing... There has been no problems with police for me. But I've heard stories, you get pulled over in certain places. You do slip them a couple bucks, like, I don't know how much it is. I don't really know because people say different things and it doesn't really cost that much. And yeah, some people are trying to survive. Some people don't make enough money in Mexico. And these things do happen. But people like this act like the USA has no corrupt police officers. Like, what happened in Minnesota lately? What did the police officers do there? The so-called police officers. People are going missing after being taken. That's what the internet's saying. Allegedly, that's what the internet is saying. And then recently, I think it was over 30 police officers in my hometown, Toronto, or in Canada. But in Toronto, police officers were arrested because they were corrupt. They were doing illegal activities like selling drugs. They were giving names of other officers to hitmen and other things going on. I'm not gonna show you any of that stuff. If you really wanna see it, go read about it, but it actually happened. So stop acting like you shouldn't come to Mexico because because there are corrupt police officers. There's corrupt police officers everywhere, like I said.
In my cases, they basically said, you know, it's $50, hand me the fine, I hand them the fine, I've been let go. That is how you properly bribe the police. And in Mexico, remember, a significant number of police officers are corrupt because it's a way of life. So here in the US, let's just, I'll make up some numbers, you know, let's say 98% of police officers are good, honest, hardworking, awesome police.
I'll make up some numbers. I'll make up some numbers. 98%. Come on, bro. Come on.
Officers, 2% do bad things. Well, you can kind of flip that in Mexico. And again, that's because it's a way of life. It's a quote unquote cultural norm. That's how they operate. It's the way.
This guy's making up numbers, saying that 2% of police officers here are good people. Making up numbers. You can't just make up numbers. Oh, these things just really get me. They boil my blood.
Of doing business. So here in the US, we have the line, you know, what are, you know, two things that are for sure? It's death and taxes. Well, in Mexico, death, taxes, and corruption, because it is a normal way of doing business. So going back to
I keep pausing this, like death, corruption, and taxes. The US has no corruption? If you really look it up, they might be the most corrupt country in the world. What is he talking about? Bro, you need a reality check, my friend.
do not go to Mexico. I had some billionaire Mexican clients several years back, and they said, hey, Jason, we want to bring you in. We want you to train us. And I said, I do not go to Mexico policy. There's no amount of money you can pay me. They were going to pay me a very healthy 6 figures to come to Mexico. And I said, no, I really do not go to Mexico. There is no amount of money you can pay me.
So he's talking about Mexico, but he sounds like he's never been to Mexico. So you're going to take advice from somebody that hasn't even been here or doesn't come here?
I'm still very blessed to have a network of intelligence officers, have a lot of inside information. And if most people knew how dangerous Mexico was, even before all the stuff you see on the news these days, you would not stop a foot in Mexico. It's just not worth it. So even though the cartels, cartel violence, yes, they're going to be going after other cartels. They're going to be going after the military, the police, and hey, you know, I'm an American tourist, so I'm going to be spared. Maybe and maybe not. But even if the cartels aren't specifically targeting American tourists, petty criminals are. And the moment you step off the plane, the moment they see you're an American, then
Americans are more safe in Mexico than they are back home. And there's more petty crime in the US than in Mexico. Do these things happen? Yes, they happen in every big city, in every country. You can get pickpocketed, you can get robbed. They might want your money, they might want your phone. There's stories about people leaving their car windows down in San Francisco so people don't smash their windows to see if they have something inside of them. Like, this was going on too. Let's get back into it. I don't even know why I'm watching this.
the moment you open your mouth and you sound American, you are you're under attack. You're under a threat watch, meaning they're watching you. And going back to, I've had so many clients come.
I've never felt threatened here. I felt more threatened in Canada and the US than I have ever in Mexico. Maybe because I'm Canadian, I don't know. That's not the reason. My accent brings more people, me speaking English gets more people interested in who I am and where I'm from. And they want to know if I like Mexico. Not that they're around some corner wanting to rob me.
Come to me after the fact where they got robbed or attacked in Mexico, and then they hire me because everybody thinks Americans are rich. It doesn't matter if you're making $30,000 a year or you are making a ton of money. Maybe you're making $3 million a year, again, a boatload of money. They don't know that. They see an American. They see an American voice, an American person, and they think there's a rich American. I can rob them. I can kidnap them, whatever. And this happens way too often. So going back to, hey, I'm not worried about the cartel.
Way too often. Where's the data? Are you just making this up again? Like your 98% of police officers are good in the US?
All this violence is cartel against the government, the military, etc. You still have to worry about the petty criminals and the corruption, which there's a heck of a lot out there. So I'm going to beat this dead horse. Under no circumstances would I recommend going to Mexico ever. If you are in Mexico, get out. I mean, anytime I travel.
Mexico doesn't want people like you anyway, so don't come. I don't really think many people care if you come or not. And some people don't even want Americans or foreigners coming to their country because they say they're ruining it. That's a whole different topic. I don't really agree with it. But I tried to do videos on that to talk about it, but no one's really interested in it. So
Of course, I've got certain tools on me. I've got, depending on where I'm going, on my tactical pen. I've got my Prime mini bar. I've got a knife. Don't have a gun. I don't work for the government anymore, so I can't take a gun overseas or do any of that easily. I've got paper maps, crucial when you're traveling.
So a guy that doesn't come brings weapons to Mexico, but he doesn't come to Mexico. But he's got to bring his weapons just in case. I don't even know what to say. Honestly, I watched a little bit of the starting of this video before I reacted to this video, but I didn't watch it all. And I have to say, I'm not surprised, but I'm irritated right now. Maybe I should take a break from this video.
Physical paper maps. I've got phone numbers everywhere. I've got phone numbers to the embassy, the consulate, phone numbers all back home, because maybe my phone's not going to work. And remember, most of these days have a phone with a gazillion phone numbers, and we don't remember a lot of phone numbers, which is why you handwrite these and keep this on your person. I'll have a satellite.
I think he's trying to sell something here, because he's pulling out a satellite phone. I guess I should get myself a satellite phone. Maybe, because he says I should. Because I'm in Mexico, I should have a satellite phone. I mean, writing down consulate numbers when you come visit or live here, whatever, that's fine. Having that information, having phone numbers for other places, home, emergencies, hospitals, all that stuff, that's smart stuff. But let's see what he says about the satellite phone. Now, I think he's trying to sell something here. And I don't know if I should play it because... Well, let's see what happens.
When I'm going to a foreign country, and satellite phones, you can rent them or you can buy them. I own my own satellite phone, but you better believe when I'm going somewhere overseas.
How many of us own satellite phones when we go overseas, when we go travel? I'm gonna go to Rome soon, and maybe I should get a satellite phone. Sounds like one of those toys that men just wanna buy. I have a satellite phone. Look at me.
I don't go to the dumpy areas of the world anymore. I'm going to have my sat phone. It is the Iridium, I'm trying to think. I don't have it right here in my office. The Iridium 9555, I believe that is what my sat phone is. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Anyways, but get a sat phone, get a decent sat phone. All you need is clear view of the sky. So heaven forbid you are trapped somewhere in Mexico, your cell phone isn't working or whatever happens.
Let's see if he has a link in his description here. Satellite phone link. Tomahawk, blade. Okay. So he's got his tomahawk and his blade in the background, but no satellite phone. Maybe he should sell it.
You can still use your sat phone. So don't always think, hey, I'm going to go overseas and I'm going to get, buy their local and...
Bro, I already have enough stuff to bring with me when I go travel. I'm not bringing a satellite phone. Maybe if you're going into the jungle for a bunch of days or somewhere else where you don't get any service, but Mexico's not a place where you can't get service. There's everyone in Mexico has a phone, especially Mexico City. You can get service everywhere.
I'm going to buy their local SIM card or whatever, bring a sat phone, bring a reliable phone. Always have the currency of the country you're going to. Always have US dollars, because US dollars still work everywhere. Have at least $300 of each currency, a minimum. And don't have it in one place. Don't have it like the guy and my client who got pulled over in Mexico and said, hey, what's the fine? And the police officer said to him, how much money do you have on you? And he says, well, I got $600. And the police officer said, well, that's funny. The fine is $600. So the guy had to give him all $600 to get out of that jam where the corrupt police officer was shaking him down.
This is common sense. I mean, I learned this in Thailand. I rented a motorbike and I drove around Thailand. But when I rented the motorbike, they told me, keep a little bit of money in one pocket, put the other money somewhere else. You don't really keep it in one place, because if you do get robbed or someone shakes you down, I never had to pay a police officer in Thailand either. But that's what I always did. I left a little bit of money in my pocket. If they asked for it, I pull it out, and that was the story. So that's common sense. But the rest of this video,
I'll have it on a travel belt inside my waistband, about the 12 o'clock position. So you would literally have to reach down my pants in the crotch area, which is where this travel belt sits, hard to get to. I also like ankle wallets. I'll have money all over me. I mean, if you're so paranoid, and again, I am, you can tape some money
paranoid, yeah, you are.
to the inside of your thigh, or if you're really, really paranoid, tape it right under your scrotum area. Nobody checks there when you're getting searched. So please be prepared. Please, again, I know I'm talking quickly. I've gone over a lot of stuff.
I don't really know why he says carry so much money with you. And you got to carry so much money that you got to tape it between your legs. I mean, I don't know how much a satellite phone is, but they also take that from you. What am I doing?
There are wonderful beaches in Florida, wonderful beaches in California. I love Nags Head, wonderful beaches in North Carolina. So there are so many great beaches in the United States and in the world that for you to say, hey, I'm going to take my cruise, or I'm going to Cancun, I'm going to Puerto Vallarta, like, don't do it.
Yeah, just stay in the US. If you're that paranoid, don't go anywhere. Stay in your house. Stay in your bunker. Just don't come outside. Wear a tinfoil hat. I don't care. Don't come.
Your life is too precious. I always tell my kids, don't put yourself in bad situations, right? Going to inner city Chicago at 3 a.m., inner city Baltimore at 3 a.m., probably not the wisest idea. Well, that's like...
It's probably not the wisest idea. That's why you don't go to certain bad areas in Mexico. Not all most places in Mexico are good places, just like the US. Stop saying that all of Mexico is bad. This is just a racial... This is based on history of racism. This idea that Mexico and Mexican people are bad people. They are some of the kindest, nicest people I've met ever in the world. And I've traveled a lot. Traveled a lot more than this guy probably. I don't even know. Is he a CIA agent? Tell me. Let someone find out. I'm not even going to look it up.
So if you wouldn't go to inner city Chicago in the middle of the night, don't go to Mexico right now. As one of my mentors at the agency said, spying is common sense on steroids. So please, when you're traveling, have common sense on steroids. Stay safe.
Yeah, you need to have common sense when you travel. That's a given. If you don't have common sense and you travel, maybe it's not a good idea to travel. But there's a difference between common sense and being super paranoid. But I think this guy is trying to target paranoid people and sell them things. That's why he shows all these satellite phones and all these different things. He's trying to sell stuff. He's trying to make money. I mean, I'm not gonna hate the player. You're supposed to hate the game, not the player. But I need to step up and tell people the truth when people like this are lying. And when the US media is telling these lies that are based on historical racist ideas about people that are amazing people. And I'm gonna keep talking about this stuff, and I'm gonna keep fighting these things because I want my son to grow up and be proud that he's Mexican. Because there's a lot to be proud of. Mexico isn't a bad place. There's a lot of good things about Mexico, much more than bad things. So these guys need to stop. And I'm not gonna stop until they stop. If you like this video, I have other videos like this one right here. This is a Mexico versus the USA. Who's really more dangerous? And I'll prove to you that maybe the US is much more dangerous than Mexico. So go check it out. I'll see you there, and thanks for watching this video.